A clash of cultures and religions. Can European Muslims integrate, but not assimilate? Next on Global Pulse. Today, Global Pulse looks at how these broadcasters are covering the conflicts between Islamic and European cultures. As this graph shows, many Muslims living in the EU see themselves as Muslims first, Europeans second. Can Muslims be integrated if they won't assimilate? Iran's English language press TV explored the question.
Another day, another media story calling into question the loyalty of British Muslims. This time, a poll commissioned by the BBC suggests that over a third of Muslims in the UK don't feel British.
Firstly, what does it mean to be British nowadays? Does it mean you dress a certain way? Does it mean you have to support whatever Britain is doing, like the war in Iraq? But secondly, Muslims are Muslims wherever they are in the world.
But British Muslims say they're doing all they can to integrate, and perhaps the host community could be a little more welcoming.
Islam's bumpy road in Europe is illustrated by a series of recent events causing clashes that have reverberated worldwide. First, the author Salman Rushdie was knighted by the Queen of England, although his novel was considered blasphemous by Muslims. Iran's Al-Alam shows the angry reaction.
Hundreds of women held a demonstration in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad.
The protesters demanded punishment for Rushdie for persisting to insult Muslim beliefs.
Britain's committed two crimes. The first crime was giving British citizenship to Rushdie when he was offending Muslims. The second crime is awarding him for his insult to Muslims.
Britain's continuous political support for Rushdie, who offends Muslims, will increase Muslim anger and lead to a clash between civilizations.
Then Danish cartoons, reprinted in Sweden, depicted the Prophet Mohammad. India's South Asian Newsline reports on the protests the cartoons ignited.
Chanting, "We will sacrifice our lives over sanctity of the Prophet," more than 100 students torched Danish and US flags in Pakistan's central city of Multan. The cartoons had sparked widespread riots across the Islamic world when it was originally published 2 years ago.
Finally, an anti-Muslim Dutch film brought more protest as Al Jazeera English presents.
Protesters have broken into the grounds of a Dutch consulate in Indonesia. Hundreds demonstrated against a controversial Dutch film linking Islam to violence. Indonesia's top Muslim organization is calling for a boycott of Dutch imports.
The British were no less upset when the Anglican archbishop suggested acknowledging parts of Islamic law, as Press TV and the BBC reported.
How do you solve a problem like Sharia? A storm of controversy after the Archbishop of Canterbury suggests that parts of Islamic law might fit Britain.
To recognise Sharia is to recognise a method of jurisprudence governed by revealed texts rather than a single system.
The proposal by Rowan Williams was immediately rejected by the Prime Minister and the main opposition Conservatives. There are already some religious courts in the UK, including those working for Orthodox Jews.
Damage in the parishes where committed worshippers are left bemused and upset.
Not just the Archbishop of Canterbury, but the government as a whole seems to be selling the whole country down the lane.
When the prime ministers of Turkey and Germany met in early 2008, each expressed their views on harmonious relations. But they have important differences, as Germany's Deutsche Welle reported.
Chancellor Merkel and Prime Minister Erdogan held a discussion on German-Turkish relations with a group of young people.
Integration isn't a one-way street. People who've lived here a long time have to be open. And people who come to us can't hide away and say, "I'll do some things, but not others."
We believe in saying yes to integration. But we say no to assimilation.
For Global Pulse, this is Erin Coker.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only US network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.